Welcome, crypto fam, to No One Daily Bitcoin Pod, and happy Sat Stacking Saturday. In today's show, I'll be sharing the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as the 888,888th Bitcoin block has officially been mined. Also, Senator Lutnick says the U.S. government should sell its gold and buy Bitcoin. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Kaiser, the Bitcoin singularity and the return of Jesus are the same thing. We'll also be discussing Pakistan Crypto Council proposes using excess energy for Bitcoin mining, as well as tornado cash removed from the U.S. Treasury's OFAC sanctions roster. We'll also be discussing crypto debanking is not yet over until January of 2026, according to this report from Caitlin Long. We'll also be discussing Nigeria still open to crypto business despite the rocky past. We'll also be discussing the latest from Howard Lutnick, quoting him here: "I want to make the USA $2 trillion. I own $1 billion of MicroStrategy and $200 million of Bitcoin, and I have the authority from the President of the United States to buy Bitcoin in budget-neutral fashion after we sold $5 billion of gold cards, and DOGE is going to cut $1 trillion from the deficit." We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more here on Sat Stacking Saturday. Let's get it. Anyways, without further ado, if you're new to the channel, very important, smash the likes, go ahead, subscribe, then ring the bell. Turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto newsletters every single day, 7 days a week, just like this, including on Sat Stacking Saturdays. Today is pod episode 1941. I'm your host, JV. It's March 22nd, 2025. Bitcoin barely back in the green, maintaining above $84,000. And let's kick it off with our market watch. As we do each and every day, I should be able to see Coin360 pulled up here on your screen. Bitcoin up 0.8% on the day. On Coin360, we're closer to 85,000. On Ether, up 2% on the day, back above 2,000. XRP in the red, BNB in the red, Tron and XLM in the green. And checking out CoinMarketCap.com. The current crypto market cap sits at 2.76 trillion. We've kind of been stuck in this range for a hot minute. The Bitcoin market cap is 1.67 trillion. As of today, and we have roughly 43 billion worth of volume of the past 24 hours, which is down 20+%. Bitcoin dominance is currently 60.4%, with the Ether dominance at 8.7%. Checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours, we got Immutable leading the pack, up 12.5%, followed by Curve DAO token up 11.5%, followed by Cosmos up 9%. Now, which alts, if any, are you most bullish on for the bull? Holla. And checking out the crypto bubbles, we get a visual perspective. First, let's look at the daily. Safe to say 90% of the market in the green, which is nice. Zooming out for the weekly, I'd say maybe 70-30 green over red. And zooming out on the monthly, unfortunately, 90-10 blood wreck city red over green. And let's also look at the yearly and get some perspective here. What's actually in the green? There's a handful, but the majority of the market definitely in the red as far as altcoins are concerned. And checking out the Crypto Good Info Index today, we're at 32 in fear. Yesterday at 31, last week at 46, and last month at 49. Neutral. And checking out the time chain calendar. We did surpass block number 888,888 earlier today, which is pretty iconic. Right now we're on block number 888,937, and as you know, TikTok next block approximately every 10 minutes since the inception of the Genesis block. And we have 161,063 blocks until the next halving in 2028, and you can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,188 sats. So pick up the sats, put down the gas, pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. And if you don't know, now you know. Broskies. Let's dive into today's technical analysis. We'll also pull up some of the live charts. So here we go. Headline reads, Bitcoin prime for major moves as macroeconomic conditions ease, says analyst Jamie Couts. Here's his outlook. Real Vision chief crypto analyst says Bitcoin may soon print a series of rallies as macroeconomic conditions could ease later on this year. And a new thread he shared on X that the market liquidity is expected to increase in the second half of the year, which may pump thy biddy, quoting him here. The bottom line, though, is that if Bitcoin can rally through the worst liquidity withdrawal in decades, it is prime for more significant moves as conditions ease through the rest of the year. Watch the blue line for the base money liquidity liquidity to debt ratio begin to tick higher in the second half of the year, in which he posted alongside this chart. In addition to the predicting money supply will increase faster than the U.S. debt, he also predicts Bitcoin adoption will increase amongst U.S. banks and sovereign wealth funds, helping to increase the value of the biddy. Quoting him here, more likely, base money outpaces government debt growth. What happens if base money expands faster than the U.S. debt growth? In some reality, that might steady the ship and dampen the fear fueling Bitcoin adoption. But in my view, that only hits the margins. Meanwhile, deeper Bitcoin integration at both sovereign and banking levels is inevitable. Ultimately, U.S. structured deficits are not changing. The U.S. government will need to find new and inventive ways to ensure there is a bid for their debt. So he's ultimately saying the money printer will continue to go burr, basically outpacing all that other stuff. And that's bullish for Bitcoin at the end of the day. So I don't mind it whatsoever. And checking out, again, breaking news earlier. This was just kind of iconic. The 888,888 Bitcoin block has officially been mined. Here's a proof of receipt on that. And also, Cynthia Lummis, senator, says the U.S. government should sell its gold to buy Bitcoin. Max Kaiser predicted long ago, as predicted, Bitcoin is demonetizing gold. You already know, Biddy tapping into that 20 trillion market cap. And also, someone wrote, people are really betting on the return of Jesus this year in response to a poly-market wager, I guess, going on. Let's actually take a look at that. What's the chance? 3% chance, according to poly-market. And then Max Kaiser wrote, the Bitcoin singularity and the return of Jesus are the same thing. And now let's pull up some of those live charts, do a little live chart action. Jackson for the broskies. This is live and in the flesh. You should be able to see trading view via Coinbase Exchange on your screen. This is the 1 hour chart. We'll get some different looks in the different time preferences. Overall, we have an ascending channel. We do have a couple of targets, actually 3 in particular on the screen. One sitting at 86,000, 2,000 above the current price action. We have a bear target at 82, and then there's a super bear target all the way down to 76.3. And that's the current bottom was around 76, 77, and top analysts are saying that the bottom is already in. Let me know if you agree or disagree with some of the analysts. Checking out the 4 hour chart, there's also a rising wedge and a falling wedge. It's falling wedge followed by a rising wedge. 2 bull scenarios, one sitting at 113.7, which would take us obviously back to price discovery. And then we have one at 105.790, roughly 4,000 short from the current all-time high. And then we have a bear target in the green sitting at 76.385. And zooming out from here, we check out the daily. The daily chart says rising wedge followed by a falling wedge, a couple of bull targets. One is 113.6, and then we have one, it looks like just around that same level. And then there's a couple of bear targets, one at 68,699 and a super bear at 49,000. Zooming out from the daily, take a look at a weekly chart, and we do get a new weekly close tomorrow at 6 p.m.-ish. We do still have the 124 cup and handle target on the screen. Obviously, past several weeks have been corrective and choppy, trading sideways. I like to believe that the bullish momentum will continue. If not for the end of this month of March, then I think April could have the potential to be extremely bullish, considering we've had a very bearish past couple of months. And with that being shared, take a look at the monthly really quick, the monthly chart. As you can see, previous month was a bearish close for February. It was pretty significant candle as well. January was bullish, but barely. December was corrective, but barely. And November was the biggest Godzilla green candle we have witnessed yet. We increased roughly 30,000 from like the 60 range to the 90 range just in 1 month. So if we can get a repeat of a November, that can take us right on all to, surpassing price discovery all-time high, tapping roughly 120,000. But you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll read your comments out loud. And again, welcome everyone to the live stream. Here's the latest out of the Middle East, especially from Pakistan. Their crypto council proposes using excess energy to mine thy biddy. That's right. It must mean it's the highest and best use case for energy. The CEO of Pakistan's crypto council proposed using the country's runoff energy to fuel thy biddy mining at the crypto council's inaugural meeting, which took place yesterday. According to the article from The Nation, the council is exploring comprehensive regulatory frameworks for cryptos to attract foreign direct investment and establish Pakistan as a crypto hub. The meeting included lawmakers, the Bank of Pakistan's governor, the chairman of Pakistan Securities and Exchange Commission, and the Federal Information Technology Secretary. Senator Muhammad had this to say about the meeting. This is the beginning of the new digital chapter for our economy. We are committed to building a transparent, future-ready financial ecosystem that attracts investment, empowers our youths, and puts Pakistan on the global map as a leader in the emerging technologies. Meanwhile, the Crypto Council represents a radical departure from the government of Pakistan's previous stance on crypto. Back in May of 2023, former Minister of the State for Finance and Revenue said that crypto would never be legal in the country. Take that, hater. Now, Pasha cited anti-money laundering, tax avoidance restrictions under the Financial Action Task Force as the primary motivation for the government's anti-crypto stance, which we know is nothing more than FUD at the end of the day. The government of Pakistan moved to regulate the cryptos as legal tender November of last year, the same day as the elections in the United States, and following the re-election of Mr. Trump in the U.S. and the inauguration, which was Jan 20th, the same day, ironically, we hit the all-time high, 1093, current price discovery. Trump moved quickly to establish his pro-crypto policies at the federal level. That's right, executive order, strategic Bitcoin reserve. You already know. President Trump signed the executive order establishing the Working Group on Digital Assets. The Executive Advisory Council tasked with exploring comprehensive regulatory reform on digital assets. And January 23rd's order also prohibited the government from researching, developing, or issuing CBDCs, central bank digital currencies of the lizard folk. President Trump signed the executive order creating the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. I believe that was on the 7th, a couple of weeks ago, and a separate digital asset stockpile, which was the right move to make, which includes like XRP, Cardano, Ether, and some of the other shitcoins. March 2025 include cryptos made by U.S.-based firms, and there's also a lot of speculation going around right now that Trump and his admin, being their pro-crypto, could be announcing something huge like zero capital gains tax on cryptos made in the U.S., and obviously Bitcoin would be grandfathered in. And if you don't know, now you know. And let me know your thoughts regarding the Trumpster embracing the biddy and him following through on some of the bold promises he shared with us Bitcoiners as the Nippinators licking the gonads. That's a message to Gary Gensler. Gensler doesn't have clean hands, and Nipster likes to point that out by keeping his junk clean, unlike Gary. Let's continue with the bitty news. Next story of the day, we discuss Pakistan. Now let's discuss a little bit of the Tornado Cash. This is good news for the industry. Tornado Cash removed from the U.S. Treasury's OFAC sanctions roster. Tornado Cash is a crypto mixer accused of allegedly facilitating laundering of stolen funds by North Korea's state hackers, has been removed from the U.S. sanctions list. This decision follows a November appellate court ruling that determined the U.S. Treasury Department exceeded its authority in imposing sanctions on the platform. Tornado Cash has been on specially designated national and block persons list since 2022, accused of laundering more than $455 million in crypto stolen by hackers associated with North Korea. The Treasury's sanctions were part of the broader efforts to combat state-sponsored hacking and cybercrime, particularly in relation to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. However, a federal appeals court found in November that the Treasury's actions violated legal boundaries. That's right. The court ruled that the smart contracts that underpin Tornado Cash, essentially the immutable lines of code on the blockchain, do not qualify as property under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the law typically used to freeze assets for national security reasons. Following the court's decision, the Treasury Department announced Friday it would drop the sanctions against Tornado Cash, and in its statement, the department acknowledged the appellate's court ruling while framing its decision as a necessary review of the legal and policy challenges posed by financial sanctions in the digital age. Treasury Secretary emphasized the importance of securing the digital asset industry from abuse while also recognizing the innovation potential of these techs. He also stated, "We remain deeply concerned about the significant state-sponsored hacking and money laundering campaign aimed at stealing, acquiring, and deploying digital assets for the DPRK and the Kim regime." Now, the decision has been met with mixed reactions. Coinbase, major crypto exchange, the largest here in the U.S., financially backing the legal challenge, celebrated the ruling as a historic win for the crypto industry. A Coinbase representative argued that blocking open source tech due to the actions of a few bad actors is not that Congress intended when it authorized financial regulations. Despite the lifting of sanctions, Tornado Cash operations have continued even under scrutiny. Research indicates North Korean hackers still utilize the platform to launder significant amounts of stolen crypto. The Treasury previously accused Tornado Cash of laundering over $7 billion since its inception in 2019, emphasizing the ongoing challenges in regulating the centralized financial systems. Legal action is still in motion against Tornado Cash co-founders. Roman Storm was arrested in Washington State in 2023, while his co-founder Roman remains at large and on the U.S. sanctions list. And additionally, a Dutch court recently sentenced a Tornado Cash developer, Alexei, to over 5 years in prison for his involvement in money laundering activities. And if you don't know, now you know. And I'm actually curious how many of you have ever used a crypto mixer before, whether it was Tornado Cash or anything of the likes. Let me know. Next story, we'll discuss debanking, apparently still going on till January of 2026, according to this report by Caitlin Long. So let's break this one down. The crypto industry may be facing debanking-related issues to the U.S. despite the recent wave of positive legislation. According to crypto regulatory experts and industry leaders, the collapse of crypto-friendly banks in early 2023 sparked the first allegations of Operation Choke Point 2.0. Critics, including venture capitalist Nick Carter, described it as a government effort to pressure banks into cutting ties with crypto firms. And despite numerous crypto positive decisions from President Trump, including the March 7th order to use Bitcoin seized in government criminal cases to establish a national reserve, the industry may still be facing banking issues. Quoting CEO of Custodia Bank, Caitlin Long here, it's premature to say that debanking is over. And she also says there's 2 crypto-friendly banks under examination by the Fed right now, and an army of examiners was sent into these banks, including the examiners from Washington, a literal army just smothering the banks. The Fed is the outlier, and the Fed is still controlled by Democrats. Trump won't have the ability to appoint a new federal governor until January. So therefore, you can see the breadcrumbs leading up to a potentially big fight. Because if the OCC and FDIC overturn their anti-crypto guidance, but the Fed does not, where does that leave us? Now, Long's Custodia Bank was reportedly targeted by the U.S. debanking efforts and Operation Choke Point 2.0, which cost the firm months of work and a couple of millions of dollars. Industry outrage over alleged debanking reached a crescendo when a June 2024 lawsuit spearheaded by Coinbase resulted in the release of the letters showing U.S. banking regulators asking certain financial institutions to pause crypto banking activities. That's right. Crypto debanking is also amongst the biggest challenges for European crypto firms. According to Anastasia, co-founder and CEO of blockchain regulatory firm Ethereum, quoting her here, we're living in 2025 and debanking is still one of the main operational issues for small and large crypto firms. Crypto debanking is also a problem here in the EU. I had my accounts closed in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2021, and 2022, but 2024 was a good year. Operationally, these problems exist for both users and crypto firms operating. The comments come 2 weeks after the U.S. Office of the Comptroller of the Currency eased its stance on how banks can engage with crypto, hours after President Trump vowed to end the prolonged crackdown restricting crypto firms accessing to banking services. Trump's remarks were made during the White House Crypto Summit recently, where he told industry leaders he was ending Operation Choke Point 2.0. And as Elon posted here, did you know that 30 tech founders were secretly debanked? That's right. The war on crypto is for real and still going on, apparently. At least 30 tech and crypto founders were secretly debanked in the U.S. during Operation Choke Point 2.0. So let's see if Trump can't change anything until January, unfortunately for the banks. But we'll see if the pressure changes things. Let me know if anyone here has lost your bank account due to crypto activities or anything of the like. I'm curious. JB, hit the gong so I can do a bong. You got it. I'm going to hit the gong for DNA to hit the bong. Let's send it. 420 broskies. Wop. Mess them up. But yeah, anyways, next story of the day, fam. Let's discuss Nigeria adoption of crypto, and then we'll dive into the United States allegedly purchasing $300 billion worth of Bitcoin, which can 10x the price, send a pretty low biddy north of $1 million per coin, as per Howard Lutnick and the new White House crypto team. working with the Trump administration. And then we'll do some live Q&A and go from there. And again, welcome everyone joining us. Smash the likes. It's free to do so. Nigeria is still open to crypto business despite the rocky past. Now, my understanding is crypto adoption is huge in African countries like Nigeria. And why is that? Because of freaking inflation being no joke, and some of them experiencing hyperinflation, and that's why the stable coins are also so popular out there. The government of Nigeria is still open to the crypto businesses operating in the country despite the ongoing lawsuit against crypto exchange Binance and high-profile detention of the Binance executive Tigran. Nigerian Information Minister Mohammed Idris told Semaphore that many crypto businesses operate inside of a country that are not facing litigation or criminal prosecution. Quoting him here, "This is part of the effort to strengthen our laws, not to cripple anybody. We're ensuring that no one comes and operates without regulation." Nigeria filed an $81.5 billion lawsuit against Binance in February, claiming the exchange crashed Nigeria's local currency, the Naira, and said Binance owed $2 billion in back taxes as the Nigerian government continues to grapple with sensible crypto policy. And here you're looking at the Naira M2 money supply, which has been rapidly increasing since March of 2024, meaning they're printing till the wheels fall off, broski. Kind of reminds me of the dollar. The Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission overhauled its crypto regulations back in December of last year, tightening laws around the crypto marketing and advertising. More specifically, the updated law requires digital asset providers operating in the country to obtain permission before the third-party marketing firms can run advertisements on behalf of the firms. And in February, the best month of the year, I dare say, Nigerian regulators also announced a plan to tax crypto transactions for revenue generation. Boo! And according to Chainalysis 2024 Global Adoption Index report, Nigeria ranks second globally for crypto adoption, while India claim the top spot. Well, I would assume because India has the largest population, it just makes the most sense, right? I believe it's India, China, and Nigeria is massive in of itself, and the larger the population, the more logically there would be crypto adoption as far as people. But anyways, Chainalysis also found the African country received $59 billion in crypto between July of 2023 and June of 2024. Despite these impressive figures, taxing crypto transactions may not bring the revenue desired by the Nigerian government. Well, find other ways to raise capital, government. Don't rely on taxes, as if the people don't have enough damn taxes in their life that's keeping them poor. But I digress. Coin Bureau founder and market analyst Nick Puckrin said Nigeria has a robust over-the-counter market for retail crypto trading, which evades centralized exchanges and is difficult for track or tax. Good. It's because they don't want to pay no damn taxes. And now Puckrin, whatever that name is, Puckrin, added that imposters use crypto to circumvent the high volatility of the Nigerian Naira and escape the foreign exchange risk. Can you blame them? The rapidly depreciating value of the fiat currency makes it unlikely that the importers will stop using their crypto, and these importers will be hard-pressed to report their crypto transactions, which can be conducted peer-to-peer to Nigerian. Here's my understanding. The more corrupt your government is, less people should be using your currency because it's corrupt. So why wouldn't you be transacting in crypto when it's peer-to-peer and the government has no access or control over your private wallets? Obviously. But, I mean, it is what it is. Adoption will continue. Nigeria, please stand up. Now for our featured story of the day, discussing the United States of America, Treasury Secretary Howard Lutnick proposing the United States and Trump to purchase $300 billion worth of Bitcoin, which can send the Bitcoin price action skyrocketing by a factor of 10x. And from 100,000, 10x, obvious, 1 million per coin. So let's break this baby down, shall we? And shout out Luke Broyles for making the post. He wrote, and quoting Howard Lutnick, paraphrasing him here, "I want to make the USA $2 trillion. I own $1 billion of MicroStrategy." Again, Howard Lutnick owns $1 billion worth of MicroStrategy. He also owns $200 million worth of Bitcoin. As you know, that will soon become billions once Bitcoin 5x's to 500,000 per coin. And I have the authority from the President of the United States, POTUS Trump, to buy Bitcoin in budget-neutral fashion after we sold $5 billion of gold cards and DOGE. My idea to Elon is going to cut $1 trillion from the deficit. And if you missed yesterday's podcast, it was a very powerful show because we discuss all of those budget-neutral ways for the United States to acquire more Bitcoin because they said they didn't want to use the taxpayer dollars. Well, they don't have to. They can sell gold notes or gold certificates to do so. And that's one of the proposals by the GigaChad, Michael Saylor. But here we go. Here's the steps. Step 1, cut $1 trillion. Step 2, sell hundreds of billions of gold. I dare say, sell trillions of dollars of that crap. And quoting Max Kaiser, gold is the poor man's Bitcoin. It sure is. And step number 3, buy $300 billion worth of the bitty. Why so bearish? I say, buy as much Bitcoin as humanly possible. And step number 4, force the Bitcoin price up 10x. I like that word. Let's force it up. Why not? And number 5, step 5, get Trump successors elected after bragging we made the USA literally trillions of dollars in Bitcoin during our administration. Howard Lutnick has a growing probability of being the single biggest NGU contributor in Bitcoin's history, and it seems like he wants to. You'd have to be a complete idiot to have zero exposure to Bitcoin over the next 4 years. The direction couldn't be more clear. Pump it, Howard. Pump it up. Let me know your thoughts on that proposal, and do you think that will likely take place? Yay or nay? And keep in mind that Howard Lutnick is the Treasury Secretary, and he is a massive Bitcoiner, and that's no exaggeration. I've actually watched the interview where Pompliano asked him point blank, how much Bitcoin do you own? And he said hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. And I mean, having exposure to MicroStrategy is an indirect way to have exposure to Bitcoin. So he literally, figuratively speaking, has billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin exposure, and that's only going to increase. So you think he's going to have pro-Bitcoin policy? You damn skippy. You know what I mean? And let's also pull up the latest from Max Kaiser. I like Max's tweets and his insights, being he's the OG. You know what I mean? The one and only, of course, the high priest, the Bitcoin bishop. He wrote here, a stablecoin backed by gold would outcompete a US dollar backed stablecoin on world markets. Russia, China, Iran should take note. It would track inflation. The US dollar does not. You're guaranteed to lose purchasing power. The US dollar has no volatility, but again, you are guaranteed to lose purchasing power. Bitcoin is deflationary, but volatile. Gold tracks inflation and is minimally volatile. Why wouldn't Russia, China, and the Saudis and Iran do this? So what are your thoughts on a gold-backed stablecoin? There's been a lot of speculation with this over the years as well. He also wrote here, oh boy, for you chuckleheads out there. Number 1, Bitcoin is too volatile for this use case. Number 2, gold is more trusted than the US dollar, and it is easy to verify. Number 3, Russia, China, and Iran are not going to accept a US dollar stablecoin. Number 4, I predict they will counter the US dollar stablecoin with a gold one. Number 5, China and Russia have a combined 50,000 tons of gold, more than what's actually reported. And again, gold is the poor man's Bitcoin. And he also wrote here, in response to this news, the U.S. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick described Ireland as his favorite tax scam in a recent interview, adding that it's got to end. Max put, this closure of the U.S.-Irish tax DOGE will have a material impact on Ireland's economy for show. You'll need to get those cows working overtime to up your butter exports. Now, Max has done some documentaries on the Irish economy and, stuff like that over the years as well with Stacy. Yeah, this is crazy. This guy made $10,000 a month selling potatoes in the mail. All he does is write a message with a marker on the potato, and people are buying it up. So there's no excuse not to stack thy biddy. If you're not making at least $10,000 a month, maybe you should start selling some damn potatoes. Do what you got to do. Some say potato, some say patata. And as we mentioned earlier, Bitcoin hit the iconic block height 888,888. And in numerology, 8 represents the balance between the material and spiritual worlds, intelligent infinity, the same as the Ethereum max token supply, infinity sign. And Max also wrote that the Bitcoin singularity and the return of Jesus are one of the same. And shout out El Salvador, their national library gets a full Bitcoin node. The most epic library I've ever set foot in. I mean, that's an actual photo of it. It was fantastic. I visited that spot a couple of months ago. It was definitely one of the highlights for me. And of course, El Salvador continues, add more Bitcoin to their strategic reserve, 1 bitty per day, every day. Total Bitcoin added, 1 Bitcoin just the other day. I think that was yesterday. Total Bitcoin added in 30 days, 42. That's an average of more than 1 per day. And their total strategic Bitcoin holdings is 6,123. You can verify it right here. If you don't know, now you know. And again, welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. We got roughly 1,300 people here. It's a tri-stream. We're live on X, Rumble, and YouTube. When Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy goes up 1.5x that of the Biddy. Good morning, Melbourne, Australia. Shout out the Aussies. What it do? And again, welcome everyone